Well, good afternoon from Lincoln, Nebraska. I am currently on a storm chasing trip, and if you guys are new to the channel, then you probably don't know that I'm into this type of thing, but if you've been here for a while, then you definitely know that storm chasing is part of my photography bag of tricks. That's what I really love to do. It is the most epic and exhilarating, also scary and slightly dangerous. It's a way for me to mix art with adrenaline, which I never thought was ever possible. But today what I want to do is just give you a kind of a tour of my Outback Wilderness setup when I go on storm chasing trips. Every photography trip that I do is slightly different, and they all require a little bit different of a setup, and I have everything kind of arranged and situated in here. So I'm gonna go get some coffee from Starbucks. We got a 3-hour drive to go west in Nebraska, and I think this will be a perfect opportunity for us to kind of just go over the rig, how it's all set up, and maybe give you guys some inspiration. Splenda and half and half. And bacon Gouda sandwich, please. Cool. No, you're good. Awesome. Have a good day. Thanks. All right, so now with the most important part of the day figured out, you know what I drink. Black coffee, 4 Splenda and half. And the sandwich is because I'm not gonna have anything to eat probably for the next 8 hours, unless it's beef jerky from a gas station. So this is what I got. And then you kind of eat like trash on the road. That's just what it is. There's no options. Some of the towns you end up in are not good, to say the least. They have literally nothing other than the worst food you could imagine. So you just gotta eat what you can while you can. So let's talk about this thing. My 2024 Subaru Outback Wilderness. I have really kept it super simple, because my 22 had too much stuff on it. It was a really cool ride. It had a bunch of cool stuff, and it performed well, but it was just too much. It was too much maintenance. It was too much to worry about, too much to maintain. So on this, I decided to keep everything super, super simple. I have one completely custom modification on here that I doubt anybody else has. And let me find it. That is this. These little L brackets that I picked up from Lowe's the other day with some double-sided adhesive sticky tape. Now the reason for that is because on the center console I have attached 2 of these, and this is like 2 extras in case the adhesive heats up and goes to crap. So I can set my iPad there, because when you're chasing, having a large iPad is really nice because you can see radar, and you can kind of get a better indication of what's going on if you can't see it visually, especially if there's like a rain wrap tornado or something that you can't visually see. The radar will indicate and tell you where that possible or potential tornado is, and then you have an idea of what the storms are doing. So I always have my big iPad fixed right here. It just kind of leans up against my brackets and leans up against my screen, and then I use my phone while I'm driving, which is dangerous, but I use that for maps, so I can kind of see what the road network looks like, and if I need to have an exit plan or some type of strategy to get around the storm or get in front of the storm. It's a constant game of cat and mouse, and you kind of have to have those 2 tools. For me, those 2 tools are super important. But beside me, what I have, other than my bacon Gouda sandwich, which I'll put down here for right now, is my Atlas pack. I did a video on the Atlas pack previously. It's just, I have both of them. I have the Athlete and I have the Adventurer. The Athlete is when I want to do things like long hikes, and the Adventurer is when I just want to carry all my gear and I don't care how much it weighs. With me today, I have my Adventurer because I'm not going to be hiking or climbing or do anything crazy, so I can have all my camera gear. It can be as heavy as it needs to be. It doesn't really matter. And I set that on the passenger seat. And the reason I set that on the passenger seat is because the way the Atlas pack opens is it flips open towards the passenger door. And then I have access to all of my lenses, all of my cameras, my drone, batteries, everything that I would need at the blink of an eye. So I have to have everything within arm's reach. Now, if I'm chasing with friends, I have a rule. I only allow 2 people in the car with me, so there's 3 people, because then I kind of move this whole setup to the rear, the passenger seat behind me. And that way I can get out, open the back door, get in, get what I need, shut the door, and move on. So everything that I have that I need at a moment's notice is literally 1 hand length away. I can just reach out and I can grab my drone, all my lenses, cameras, anything I need is right here. It makes things really easy for me. And especially when you're doing it by yourself and you're kind of solo, you need to just hop back in the car real quick and throw stuff in the bag, shut the bag, and it just works. So that's what my front area, that's really all I have. Up here, I have my microphone attached so I can talk to you and I don't have to have it hanging off of me. And then I kind of wrap that up and I put that in the sunglasses case, and I can shut the sunglasses case if I want, and it's all right there. And it's hanging off of the visor, so it works out for me. And then I can just kind of do this thing and I don't have to worry about running out of the car and ripping a microphone off. It's nice, it works. The back seat is a little bit different this trip because of the new shelf that I put in. And the shelf, I did a video on the shelf. I'll put the link in one of the corners so you can watch the video on the shelf. The shelf is actually really, really nice. I did not know how well I would like it practically while I'm moving and running and gunning and shooting, but it is a super nice setup. On the back of the shelf, on top of it, I have a Yeti 35-liter Tundra cooler. So I kind of removed the whole carrying a refrigerator thing, and it's honestly been really nice. It's kept ice in the cooler for 3 days now, and I put ice in it twice. Once right when I got the cooler before I left to cool it down, I drained all that and put new ice in it, and it stayed cold the entire trip so far. So refrigerators are nice, but they're not a necessity. That's what I think some people think they need a refrigerator. Really, I'm only using a cooler because I don't have space for a refrigerator underneath my shelf. The cooler fits on top. I can slide the shelf out. I can get what I need out of my cooler. Everything works great there. And then underneath the shelf is where I have just my tools and my clothes bag. Everything that I do not need access to unless it's an emergency or at the end of the night, once a day type of stuff, I keep underneath that shelf. Now, the back seat is where things get a little bit interesting, I guess. So right behind the passenger seat, I have my All Powers 1500 power station. And that gives me access within an arm's reach to plug things in that I need to charge. So I have, and I don't have it with me, it's in the little case that I have back here, but I have a little USB type of battery charger for my camera batteries. So I keep everything plugged in to that little camera battery USB charger, and I can just plug it directly into the power station. So I always have constant charged batteries on rotation, especially for video. For photos, it's really not that important because I don't go through a battery a day on a photo camera, but on a video camera, I go through at least 1 a day. So if you're doing any type of video work, having additional backup batteries, obviously important. But anyways, back just behind me in the driver's seat, I picked up this new case, and it is like a Yeti, I don't know exactly what it's called off the top of my head, but it is a completely submersible case. So you can get all of your camera gear in there. It can get as wet as it needs to get, and you don't have to worry about anything. You could drop it in an ocean, which is exactly why I bought it, because next week I am headed to Florida for a family vacation down to see my father-in-law and a bunch of family. And when we're down there, we'll be on a boat, we'll be out in the ocean a lot, I'll have my cameras. So I needed something to keep my camera safe in that situation. A backpack is fine, but if you take on some water or people are in and out of the boat and they're swimming and they're grabbing their stuff, water's getting all over your bag, it's just something I don't want to deal with. I've owned boats before. I know how things get on a boat. So I got that fully submersible case, and it's really nice because it has a handle on top that has basically compartments where you can put, like I have batteries, I have a little mini tripod that I like to use, I have lens cleaning wipes, you know, just all kinds of stuff up top. And then underneath, I can fit my 70-200. I can fit one camera, and I can also fit an additional lens. So I can fit my A7R4 with my 24-70. I can put that in there, and then I could toss my 16-35 next to it with my 70-200, and it kind of packs in there nice and tight. I did put some foam on the bottom of it to keep things from rolling around, and if it does get jarred, they're not bouncing all over each other. But it's a perfect little case. You can't carry everything in it, but it's completely waterproof. It's watertight. You don't have to worry about your stuff getting beat up or broken or waterlogged. So that's why I got it. And it sits just behind me. I haven't had to use it on this trip, but I have some additional camera stuff in there that I just wanted to throw down into the bag, or into the box. So that's what I did there. So I've had the car running this entire time up until just now, and the camera was kind of shaky. I don't know. If it was shaky, I'm sorry. If you were making you sick, I apologize. I turned the car off, so we don't have to worry about it. But another thing I carry is this little bag. I carry too much stuff, for sure. But, like, you just never know when you're going to need it. So in this little bag, I have all of my film stuff. My film camera, my film, and I think that's it. I have a little McKinnon tool that has all kinds of different tools on it. There goes my camera. That's not great. But I shoot my film work on an AE1. It is a really inexpensive camera. They made a ton of these for a long time. It's not the best film camera, but I don't shoot a ton of film. It's just it's really hard to shoot film consistently, especially in like a high stress situation. So I don't bust this out very often, but like having really cool storm shots on film is freaking awesome. I haven't developed this roll. I haven't developed any of my rolls. I have about 5 rolls that are just sitting around. And I don't know if I want to develop them, because you kind of get to that point where you're like, oh, God, what if it's messed up? What if it doesn't look good? What if I just wasted all that money? They're like $16 a roll or something like that to get them processed. And then the roll of film itself is like $8 or $9. So it's an expensive endeavor. So, you know, I don't really try to do it too much, but then I don't want to develop them because I don't want to see if I messed up an entire roll of film. And then my tripod. So on my back seat is where I keep both of my tripods. And the reason for that is I can get out, open my back door, grab 1 or 2, depending upon what I'm doing. If I'm doing video work, if I'm just taking photos, I just grab 1. Usually what I'll do is I'll set my video camera up on a tripod and let it just record the storm, because you never really know what you're gonna get. And then that gives me time to run around like a crazy person taking pictures. And then as the storm nears and the rain starts, I grab everything, throw it in the back seat, get in the car, and we take off. Get 4, 5, 7, whatever, however many miles you need to be in front of it to be safe and to be able to get another opportunity at a different composition, fence posts, whatever it is. This year I've really focused on how do I create like a better image of not just ground, sky, storm. Like, what can I incorporate into my images to make them better and to like give them more? And the first year of storm chasing, it wasn't like that. I was just like trying to figure out what the heck I was doing. Second year, a little bit better, but really just focused on the photography aspect. And now I'm to the point to where I feel comfortable enough with forecasting the storm and understanding what's going on in the storm that I have more time to kind of set up my shots and take a look around, and it's not so chaotic. That's something, you know, everybody's different in that. So maybe that doesn't work for you, maybe it does. But if you're going to get into storm chasing or storm photography of any kind, I would definitely read some books. I have read several. It's something that I would recommend. But that is pretty much. So my 2 tripods, I have a Peak tripod. I think it's Peak. I don't know. And then I have a 3-legged thing tripod. I've had these 2 tripods, each of them for several years. These are the only 2 tripods I have. I think it's a Peak. Let me grab it. Hold on. I don't want to misquote it too bad here, because this is not a Peak. I don't know what the heck it is. I don't know why I even got that. It's a travel tripod, carbon fiber. You guys know, if you know photography, you know what this is. You know what this tripod is. You've seen it before. You know which one it is. I can't think of the name. Peak Design. There it is. I was right. This is the Peak Design tripod. Super easy. This is what I carry with me. If I'm traveling, this is the go-to. It's super small, super compact. I can throw it in my pack. It takes a whooping. This thing has been dropped, kicked, ran over, in the ocean, fallen off a cliff. It has been through it, and it still holds up. I know some people don't believe in this tripod, and they've had bad experiences. One of my buddies' ball head fell off while he was taking a shot, and his camera went into a creek. That sucks. But that's what I have. And that's kind of what my storm photography setup is. Obviously, I do a lot of other photography work, but this for storms, there's nothing better than the Subaru Outback Wilderness because it's fast, it's reliable, it's all-wheel drive. It's just a really good car for this type of scenario. And if you guys saw any pictures, I do have, open this up, I have max tracks that I just zip tied to my crossbars. I don't have a mount, I just zip tied them on there. I only have them when I'm chasing in case I need them, but I just zip tied them to my crossbars and took off. That's it. Nothing special, nothing fancy. You don't have to be fancy. You just need something that can get the job done for you when you need to get a job done. So, all right, I'm late. It is noon in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I have to go west because the storms are going to start firing around 3 or 4 o'clock. So I'm just going to take I-80 all the way west until I start seeing some clouds, put my radar system, my iPad up here, and just watch it as I drive. And hopefully come out with some really great images. If you guys like this kind of video, this kind of stuff, you want to see more of this stuff, leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe so you can come along for more adventures. There will definitely be more of those, and I will see you guys on the next one.